Hey everybody, Jason here. So I've been putting this off long enough. I really needed to kind of put a pause on my fun projects, if you will, and get some of this mowing done. I've been holding off and not cutting down here by the pond just because the fuel prices. It's just my little way of raging against the machine. I'm not happy with fuel prices. I'm sure nobody is at this point. But so it's probably been a little over almost 2 months now since I mowed this last. And so I had to break out the bush hog. It was pretty tall and thick. Um, and I need to address the pond. With the heat this year, pretty much everywhere, it's been hot. But with the heat, particularly with my pond, anyways, it really made the algae bloom just explode. The duckweed has set in real bad, and we're starting to see some dead fish. So we need to address that before it gets too out of hand. And you know, there's several ways of doing that. We're going to start with a water fountain and maybe possibly an aerator. I like to use chemicals as a last resort. I know they work really well, but again, and they're supposed to be water safe, fish safe. You can swim in it and all that kind of stuff. So they're not super toxic. Honestly, they're just very expensive, and it's something you would have to treat every year. So for now, I'm going to get it all mowed up. I do a lot that I don't show in this video. Once I get done bush hogging, I bring my other John Deere with my lawn back down, and I probably go over another 3 or 4 times with that just to pick up all the clippings that I can. I don't get super picky. I do like it nice, you know, somewhat clear down there. Just keeps the spiders and chiggers and all that stuff away when you want to walk down there and enjoy just the beach time. Yeah, so this is just me. I know some people will probably think this is like watching paint dry, but it is kind of nice to see the pond area back in you know, a better condition. And you know, I'll definitely follow this video up once we get the duckweed and algae under control. I've probably pulled out 20-25 fish so far, and they're just the little ones, so they do tend to die off first, obviously. But as we go along, I want to be able to swim in it. I've taken a couple dips this year just to cool off when I was working outside on some of my projects, but it's getting real thick with that hairy moss. The duckweed doesn't really bother me so much, but that hairy moss just, man, it's so hard to swim through. It's just clings on you like no other. But yeah, oftentimes as I mow, I just think about things in general. Think about like the situation we're in now, and inflation out of control, AI, all that kind of stuff, the future, the missing scientists. That's really kind of piqued my interest lately. So I've been watching a lot of stuff about that. Not really sure what's going on there. Of course, you know, you can speculate and conspiracy theories, or listen to conspiracy theories from here until, you know, forever. But I just find that stuff interesting. I certainly don't take stock in all that stuff, but to me, it's kind of like sitting back watching the dumpster fire, you know, just watching everything unfold and people getting caught up in it. Another thing that I've been noticing too is, I guess, buyer's remorse when it comes to new vehicles. I'm not really sure if people go buy vehicles on impulse and they just don't do any research. I don't know anybody like that, but the internet sure seems to be full of people like that. Not sure why you'd spend or drop tens of thousands Or worse yet, take out loans on tens of thousands with the interest and all that stuff on something you didn't research, something you don't know nothing about. I don't know, it just blows my mind. That the newer cars are getting more and more difficult to work on yourself. So if you're a DIY person, I would think, uh, like most of the people I know, you're probably avoiding the newer cars. Um, and if you're not a DIY person, uh, I implore you to do your research. There are some good automakers out there for sure, but there's other automakers out there that um, seems to me they're making their vehicles near impossible to work on yourself. So you do have to take them back to the dealership. But I've seen with many other brands, Ford, GMC, all that stuff, technicians quitting. They're just saying that it's impossible to work on these cars, and then the regular Joe at home doesn't want to go out and pay $4,000 to $6,000 on a software package. That's crazy. So that's been kind of piquing my interest too. I mean, just stuff I kind of watch and come across. Another thing I was thinking about is, I guess, what people expect to do, or should I say, what people think society says they should do. Like, oh, you turn 18, go try some cigarettes. No, you don't have to do that. That's dumb. It's disgusting. It's a bad habit. It's bad for you. It's pure poison. Or 21, go to the casino and gambling. No, you don't have to do that. There's no reward for turning 21 in the form of gambling. That's just potentially adopting a very bad habit. So don't listen to society. I don't know why people get caught up in that. I mean, I know they set rules, and yeah, similar to the voting age, I think gambling age should be raised. I think the voting age and gambling age should be at very minimum 25 years old. The cognitive process is still in development. Uh, and part of that is self-control. Americans in general just suffer from poor self-control, obviously with these impulse buys and gambling problems, the obesity problem, you name it. Where a lot of them are just addicted to the worst stuff there is. So, you can stray from that path. You don't have to do the normal thing just because you might turn a certain age or whatever. You do, I would implore you to seek out productive and meaningful hobbies, something that makes you happy, something that feeds your soul, other than, and I should say, avoid those vice and bad habits and addictive hobbies that are nothing but destructive. So yeah, I also know people like to go on vacations, and I don't mind taking a trip here and there too. But I very much like spending time on my property. Like I've said before, I just find value in that. I avoid any kind of situation that might occur. I was just watching a video the other day about a guy that moved from Chicago to Montana, and his community is just very upset with him. And it blows his mind. He's just like, why would I stay in Chicago? There's 25, 30 murders every week, and even in his neighborhood, he was talking about how he went home or back to Chicago to visit family and stuff, and he wasn't even there for 48 hours and somebody got shot, killed a block away from where he was staying. I mean, I don't know what's happening to us. A lot of that has been going on for many, many years. And then for him to leave and stray from that path, instead of being commended and looked at as a good influence, they're coming down on him as kind of a traitor to his community, which is just the backwards thinking. You know, um, if you see that you're in a bad situation and you don't do nothing about it, that's that's your choice. I I would encourage you to do something about it, but don't get mad at the people that do do something about it. That doesn't make any sense to me. I would again look at those people as an inspiration and possibly take that as a sign to do something different yourself. It's sort of like health. So I've said before, healthcare is your responsibility. It starts with you, with good diet, exercise, good sleep. Feed your soul, feed your brain. Quit, doom scrolling Instagram and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. That is causing severe cognitive decline. I've seen the brain fog in some of my friends and family, and it's bad. It's really bad. So, concentrate on getting outside, getting some exercise. Do something hard every day. Just whatever that might be for you. It might just be a 10-minute walk. It just depends on your situation. Or it might be a 5-mile run or a 10-mile ruck, whatever that might be. And if you can't do it every day, do it twice a week. Do what works for you, and stay off the phone as much as possible. Stay off the computer, and eat right. Your loved ones want you around, and you owe it to them to be the best person you can, and that is something that I strive for, so I can be here for my family and my friends. um, and I'm not addicted to my phone. I'm not I'm old enough to remember a time without those things, and those times were great. And so that's kind of, sometimes I'll just leave and I'll go to the skate park and I'll just go skate. I mean, that's just my hobbies. um, but you know just look around and see if you can have more than a 2-minute conversation with somebody. If you can't, that's a sign. If you can't pick up a book and read more than a chapter or two, that's a sign. Your attention span is declining. Your ability to process information, to comprehend information, and all that kind of stuff is in decline, and that's scary. And the older we get, the more we should be reading and walking and proper diet. You should be probably 30 to 50 grams of protein every day in your diet if you're over 50, 60 years old. So I'm going to wrap this one up. It's just stuff I think about when I'm doing the mundane tasks such as mowing and pulling weeds or whatever on the homestead. I think it's relevant to today's situation and just wanted to share with everybody. Take care.